as to why I opposed him. Can you help me out with it?
Well,
Like I
there. Well, one of the things is that uh, well, first he was denied confirmation as a federal judge because he was too racist. You know,
Who?
even Ronald Reagan nominated him to the federal court.
Is this the dude that Trump is putting up for
Yeah,
like
for
AG or
attorney.
whatever?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of
Oh
He's my senator.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I know who you're talking about now.
he said once that he was fine with the KKK until he found out they smoked weed.
Alright.
Wait, so who's that being put up?
Terrence,
Uh huh.
you wanna fetch the link from the channel?
I
Okay.
would like
Can you send
post
me?
it in the main
It's the same
USA chat.
Send it to the New York Times. They seem to get everything the Senate does.
Yeah, they got everything.
I wonder why.
Terrence,
Terrence.
I intend to speak at least briefly on every bill, so I thought I would
Okay.
take the courtesy of knowing.
Okay.
And
See.
we won't be talking about how much we love the people from Minnesota tonight until
Dang
maybe
it.
the very end.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak at all. I'm just going to preside because I don't.
That's
want
fine.
This shit.
I'd like to thank the people of Minnesota for re-electing AJLA to the Senate. He is a valuable asset to all of us in this country. I'll say something like that. And then I'll say it's wonderful to have wonderful LA to the Senate. He is a valuable asset to all. Where Pat McCoy got his ass kicked.
Oh,
I'll
dude,
say
I'm
something like
so
that.
happy.
And then I'll say it's wonderful.
It's
I
great
fucking-
to have Wacky Webby here with us tonight.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
instead
to
of wonderful
apply for an
Webby,
internship with Roy Cooper sometime.
I love Roy Cooper. He looks like that,
Webby.
like the quintessential grandfather.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Martin.
What's
can
that
you-
word mean?
Yeah, what's
Hold
up,
on.
Dakota?
Check
Hold
out
on.
the link.
Can you mute us until the session starts?
Yep.
All right.
Alright.
I call this session to order. Let's see. We will now, if a senator would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, they may volunteer.
I do.
All right, Senator Dukakis.
Thank you.
Have the floor for the pledge.
All right. Please raise your hand and put it on your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator Dukakis. The Secretary will now call the roll.
Present.
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 Can the Secretary call Mr. Woodland's name one more time? Are you present? I guess not.
I guess the mic may be acting up.
Mr. President, I have a motion.
Proceed.
I motion the Sergeant of Arms to compel the absence of Senator Woodland.
Do I hear a second? I do not.
RIP.
I think his microphone's just messing up.
Yeah.
Can he hear us at least?
Yes.
Yeah, he's talking in the chat.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear. Okay, well, we'll
right.
count.
All right, that is a quorum. So we will now move on to presentation of the agenda, and I'll hear any motions for modification and passage.
I motion to proceed.
I second the motion.
So no reading the agenda.
No.
I hope everyone's already read it.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second.
All right. We will now proceed. To general and opening remarks, the floor is open.
All right, close the floor.
Senator Sterling, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President and my fellow senators. I apologize in advance if I speak. There's a lot of background noise because I might be in a car full of people. So if I speak, there might be a lot of background noise. I apologize, and I hope you all have a great session. And then before I go, on behalf of the Republican Senate Caucus, we'd like to congratulate Congresswoman Cam Downey and Congressman Ryan James on becoming House leaders.
President, where
And,
does Senator Angela state us?
He's stating it in the call right now. He's giving his opening remarks.
What did Senator McKay say?
It's fine. Just continue.
Okay. And I wish everyone a great session. I yield the floor.
I request.
Senator Dukakis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the behalf of the Democratic Caucus, I would like to say that it's wonderful that the Senator of Minnesota is in attendance, seeing that he was planning on being here. I look forward to having a productive session and continuing the progress that we made in the prior session. And with that, I yield.
Does anyone else request the floor? If not, we will proceed to the nomination of Garrett A. Walker to Secretary of Commerce. The floor is open for discussion on the nominee.
I request.
Senator Dukakis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. After chairing an extensive hearing on the nominee for Secretary of Commerce, after it was moved by this body to go to the Government Oversight and Judiciary Committee, Mr. Walker adequately answered every question and concern of every member of the committee, and the Committee on Government Oversight and the Judiciary recommends to this body that we pass his nomination, seeing that not only is he qualified in foreign affairs as well, but he also is in the business field and is quite enthusiastic about getting the Department of Commerce running from its current state of inactivity and actually not being even established at all as an official group. I ask my colleagues to vote in favor. With that, I yield.
Does anyone else request the floor?
Motion to proceed.
I second the motion.
We will now proceed to a vote, and the Secretary will call the roll. The Secretary will call the roll.
Michael Dukakis, Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Webby 678,
Aye.
Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
James Woodland, James Woodland says aye in the chat. Leo 0816.
Yee.
And the vote passes with the yeas have it 6-0-0.
All right, and with that, we will move on to item 2, S1108, the Federal Prison Suspension Act. The draftee is Webby 678, and the floor is open for discussion.
I request.
Senator Dukakis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. An issue that has always plagued this group is the fact after an individual is sentenced to federal prison for committing an act of a criminal act, the majority of them have a habit of leaving the group without properly serving their sentence out in the rank as federal prisoner. Therefore, it basically they get off scot-free in a sense due to the fact that they can do whatever they want after leaving this group, and then whenever they come back after their sentence is over, they're able to freely do whatever they please. I think this bill is a wonderful thing because not only does it stop these people from leaving USA and their sentence being counted, but it will also, in my opinion, fix the issue of people who do this and come back and expect to be able to do whatever they want and to be fully integrated back into ESA. For instance, J.J. Rosie in the past has been put into federal prison and has fled the group because he was in that rank and did not serve out his prison sentence in this group and came back eventually to obtain employment within it. And I think this bill is a wonderful thing. I ask my colleagues to vote in the affirmative, and I yield.
I request floor.
You have the floor.
All right, thank you. So, as Attorney General, I personally saw this issue. We would prosecute people, they would get their sentence, they'd leave, and nothing would happen to their sentence. You're put in prison for a reason. You're to serve out your sentence. You're to pay for your crimes. If you leave the group and just do stuff in their group, you're not learning anything. Essentially, you're just taking a vacation from the group. And also, I've seen it multiple times when people have left the group, and then before a sentence is even up, they rejoined, and they're ranked. They pass immigration. I believe that this bill will fix that issue and actually punish them for fleeing the country. And I yield.
Does anyone else wish to have the floor?
I'd like to motion to proceed to a vote.
Second.
The motion passes. We will proceed to a vote, and the secretary will call the roll.
Michael Dukakis, your vote.
Aye.
Alexander J. Sterling votes yay in chat. Webby 678.
Yay.
Terrence Walsh.
Aye.
James Woodland. James Woodland votes yay in chat. Leo 0816.
Aye.
And the ayes have it at a vote of 6-0-0. The vote passes.
All right. We will move on to item 3, S1109, which is the Revised Judicial Reformation Act of 2017. I believe it was renamed. Let me check that real quickly. It was not renamed, so it is the Revised Judicial Reformation Act of 2017, authored by Senator Ruben Caforio. The floor is open for debate.
I motion to send this bill to the Government Oversight and Judiciary Committee.
Is there a second?
I wish to speak on the motion if it is second. After it's second.
Yes, we'll let Dukakis speak, and then we'll see about this motion.
Mr. President, I don't believe that this bill is necessary to be sent to the Government Oversight and Judiciary Committee. I will speak on the bill if Senator Leo does not understand what the bill is saying. If you read the text, it's just amending portions to do things such as lower the jury size and everything. There's just a couple of revisions. If anything, I believe this bill should be tabled so the author can speak on it before this body, before we make a final decision on whether or not to pass it.
Can I recommend if this will inform the senator that he could motion to move this to the next Senate session?
Okay.
Would you like
I
to do that?
retract my motion.
I motion to table the bill.
I second the motion.
Second.
Table it entirely?
No, table it into the next session. I apologize.
Okay, so there's a second. We will vote on this motion, not the bill, just to let Martin know. So you can call the roll.
Michael Dukakis, your vote on the motion.
I'm
Alexander Sterling, your vote on the motion. Alexander votes aye in chat. Webby 678, your vote on the motion.
Aye.
Terrence Walsh, your vote on the motion.
Aye.
James Woodland, your vote on the motion. James Woodland votes yay in chat. Leo 0816, your vote on the motion.
Aye.
The ayes have it at 6-0-0. The our item will be tabled until next session.
All right. Next on the agenda is item 4, S1110, which is the Revised PAC Congress Act, authored by Senator Alexander J. Sterling. The floor is open for discussion.
Mr. President, I request the floor.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. After reading this bill, there are several discrepancies within it, such as there are 2 Section 2s in the bill, and there is not a Section 1. And where it talks about in the Section 2 titled vacancies, it doesn't state if this is amending or what this is doing to the bill, where if this text is being added. I ask my colleagues to vote against this bill due to that matter. I yield.
Motion to proceed.
Second.
We will now proceed to a vote, and the secretary will call the roll.
Michael Dukakis, your vote.
Name.
Alexander J. Sterling. Alexander votes yay in chat. Webby678.
Nay.
Terrence Walsh.
Abstain.
James Woodland. James Woodland abstains in chat. Leo0816.
Abstain.
And the nays have it with a vote of 1 to 2 to 2. The item fails.
All right. Next on the agenda is item 5S1111, Capitol Hill Staff Establishment Act, authored by Senator James Woodland. The floor is open for discussion.
I request.
Senator Dukakis, you have the floor.
Mr. President, I stand in opposition to this bill due to the fact that it is once again establishing another group that is not necessary. As the President pro tempore, which is presiding today, knows, he has his own chief of staff, which he hired outside of this form of established employment, which Mr. Woodland wishes to bring about. Last session, there was a similar bill. I can't exactly remember. It was the Department of Education Act, actually, which was going to establish the Department of Education. The last session, we decided that we would not divert any more attention to expanding groups in positions that would have to be filled in these groups. I ask my colleagues to vote against this bill. I yield.
Does
Let's
anyone
proceed.
I second the motion.
The motion to proceed passes, and the secretary will call the roll.
Michael Dukakis.
Name.
Alexander J. Sterling. Alexander votes nay in chat. Webby678.
Abstain.
Terrence Walsh.
Nay.
James Woodland. James Woodland abstains in chat. Leo0816.
Abstain, Mr. President.
And the nays have it at 0 to 3 to 3. The item fails.
All right. The last bill on the agenda is item 6S1112, the Bar Exam Establishment Act of 2017, authored by Senator Ruben Caforio. The floor is open for discussion.
Motion to proceed.
Proceed. Second.
The motion proceed passes, and the secretary will call the roll.
Michael Dukakis.
I'm.
Alexander J. Sterling. Alexander J. Sterling votes yay in chat. Webby678.
Aye.
Terrence Walsh.
Aye.
James Woodland. Leo0816.
The senator from California votes aye on this piece of legislation.
And the yeas have it at a vote of 6 to 0 to 0. The item passes.
All right. We have finished all the items on the agenda, and we will now move on to closing remarks. The floor is open.
I request the floor, Mr. President.
I willingly give the floor to Senator Leo.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've done a nice job chairing tonight. I am proud of you. You're going to make a great president pro tempore. and I hope you continue to good work. I'd like to condemn Senator Webby for calling me for saying, quote unquote, "You're such an F, Leo." You know that. He actually said the full word, but I'm not gonna say it for the purposes of maintaining decorum here. I condemn him for those actions. He tried to cover up with a heart afterwards, very fake. But I still love him back. But it happens. I'd like to thank my caucus for showing up tonight, whereas only one person from the Republican caucus showed up tonight. It shows the activity of the Democrats here. We're actually willing to make a difference in this nation. The Republicans are trying to do that too, but we're coming out stronger. Yeah, that's it. I yield.
I request.
Senator Dukakis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to say that it's wonderful that this is the second session in the first 4 days that we have been seated this Congress. We have passed several bills which will help progress our nation forward, and I believe that it is important that we continue on this progress to help our nation be restored to its former glory. I hope that in the future that Senator Woodland would get into his head that we are trying to focus on the departments that we currently have in this group instead of constantly bringing up legislation that is going to open and establish new departments which would divert our attention to these half-thought ideas that have been presented before us. With that, I yield the floor.
I'd like to request the floor, Mr. President.
I think, Webby, you're senior. You have the floor.
I'd just like to say thank you to all of those that watched the session tonight. I'm extremely proud of the progress we've made in these 4 days, and I can't wait to continue serving with this group of senators. You're all very amazing, and I have a feeling that we're going to make a lot of progress in the next month and 2 months. And I'd like to yield the floor, Mr. President.
Does anyone request the floor?
I Washington Jordan.
Second.
And
Alexander Sterling in chat has requested the floor.
Okay, Mr. Sterling, you have the floor. Oh, he's going to type it. Lovely. I'll read it to the stream.
Okay.
Lovely.
He says, "Thank you."
He's going to thank the people of Minnesota. Watch. I thank the great people of Minnesota.
Order.
I would like to thank every senator. This is Angela, by the way, not me. And I wish that
Jesus loves me. That he would type a complete sentence.
order, sir. We have 24-hour notice. Thank you. That wasn't very specific, but anyways, does anyone
Motion adjourned.
wish to take?
I
Second.
second the motion.
We will now vote on adjournment. Wait, do we have to do?
Aye.
Let's just do the
Just do
Aye.
I'll
voice.
say it,
Caucus.
yeah.
Aye. All right, it
Aye,
passes.
aye, aye. Okay, bye.
Aye,
And
aye,
motion
aye.
passes.
Cut the stream. Cut the stream. Do it.